Hi everyone, it's Judy. Welcome back to Rose Lane. Okay, today should normally have been, this video should normally have been, I'm trying to straighten out my pillow behind me. So if you hear funny rustling noises, it's just me. This video should have actually been for our Scrappy Saturday, or Saturday Scraps rather. But I'm putting it up on Friday for my Forgotten Things Friday because I'm using a couple of things that I had and have, but I don't use. So this is going to be a first for me. I have, to the best of my recollection, not used envelopes before. Not like this, anyway, where I'm going to cover them and, yeah, and do stuff with them. So what I ended up doing, and I'll take this apart, just to kind of show you where I am. I started doing some stuff just to see what I could do. I have two envelopes. They're pretty torn up. I trimmed what I could to try to make them more even. They're supposed to be like this and like this, and they've got big windows in them. So what I want to do is I have one this way, I have one this way, and I want to do it so that they'll go in the signature like that. And this will be one on one side, and this will be one on the other side. So that was my thought. So what I did was, let me move my paper clips out of the way a little bit. I'm going to need them, I think, because I don't know what I'm doing. So what I thought I would do was I laid over, I have some of these, oh, there's another one. I have a lot of these French papers, like handwritten papers printed rather. So I laid one over one. They're not wide enough, as you can see. I'm going to just work on one for the moment, okay? They're not wide enough, as you can see. So what I did to cut this out, and I didn't try to do the corner, actually, the corners on it. I figured I'm probably going to end up covering them somehow. Let me see, is this the one I used? Maybe this is the one I used. Maybe it's a different size pocket. I think it may be, or just the way I cut it, because yeah, this was the one. Okay, so I cut the piece out, and all I did to cut it out was I put the paper over the envelope like this. I held it up to the light and I marked, which you really can't see on here, I marked 4 little dots on each side and then tried to draw a square out of that. Okay, so I'm going to use this one probably to help me with this one, but it looks like this one is going to be just a hair bigger. I'm probably going to want to go out a little bit more on this one. Or is this smaller? Is that, see, I'm doing that mirror thing again. If I cut it here, that means it's going to overlap here and it's going to overlap here. My problem is I need to, it's fine here, I need to cut it smaller this way. I think that's it. So remind me of that when I get to that point. So anyway, and because the edges are so ratty, like this, I decided what I was going to do was I'm going to cut this down and I'll, you know, just glue this to the fold. And probably just on this side, I'm not sure what I'm going to do just yet. Okay. Thinking probably, I was thinking maybe some printed, you know, lined paper or something, but I'm not sure yet. This is not going to be finished tonight in this video, but I just wanted to kind of start along with this. And I'll get, you know, start getting it decorated, but probably not completely together. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So without further ado, I am going to glue this down, and then I'm going to go back and cut away the excess, because I think that's probably what is going to benefit me the best. So I'm not going to move this if I can help it. I'm just going to go ahead and glue down here. Not the fanciest. I did fill my glue bottle. Get my little ratty towel over here. And see if I can try to make it as even as possible, because I know it's bigger than the piece. But my main concern is that when I fold it, it is straight. So let's go ahead and see if I can get that on that fold and see if that looks straight to me. Maybe not so much. Okay, I think because this shifted a little bit. All right, I think it'll be all right from here. I think so. Let's hope so. I am going to be covering it to some degree, so, all right, you know, covering some of this to some degree with some decoration, so embellishment. So let's go ahead and go here. Yeah, so this is totally new for me. I was gonna collage it, and then I was like, no, you know, I think I really like the idea of having the script on it. I'm trying to put more script to maybe some music paper, pretty much digitals, I think, because I don't really have a lot of nice, you know, nice looking music paper. It's all pretty contemporary and not quite what I'm looking for. So let's go ahead here, open this up and try to get inside here where I did not glue. Okay, whoops, went off my envelope. So we'll see what happens. And you know, I don't know. It may come out the way I'm envisioning in my brain. It may not, and I may have to make alterations. I may end up scrapping the whole thing and doing something else. I don't know. I got a little bit of glue over the line here, so I want to get that off, you know, past the fold. So I want to get that off of there. Okay. So let me get a little card. I know this is gonna, I can already see that it's getting glue because it's sticking down. It's getting glue underneath. I'm trying to push away from the fold a little bit, but not into the acetate, the plastic part. Okay, so let's peel that up and get rid of the extra glue that is here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and trim it right across this. I'm going to try to do this with scissors, as opposed to my cutter, because I'm not sure just yet if everything is as straight as I want it to be. When I put the other open envelope on the back of it, I may find that I have more that I'm going to have to trim down just to make it even, you know, just to make so that it's got an even thing on it. We'll have to see. Now, I played with deciding, do I want to open it from, you know, put the tag in from this side? Do I want to put it in from the top? I thought the top would be neat, and then I thought, no, you know, that's probably not a good idea, because if I put it in from the top, it's already a long journal, and you'd need, like, you know, 4-foot arms to pull the tag out of the top. So it's like, I don't know about that. Maybe that's not a good idea. So let's go with the conventional, let's take it from the side kind of thing. Not that adventurous yet. I'm trying not to cut through the fold of the envelope. I'm not sure that I'm being successful, but that's okay, because I'm just going to put that to the side over there. That's okay, because my intention is to wrap the fold where it will be in the, I can't get close enough with these, where it will be in the, you know, in the spine where it's going to be sewn in. So much easier to get in there with these nice skinny little scissors. Okay, so we have this side. Oops. Now I'm going to take this paper, which is from the Chapter 1 papers, And I'm gonna put this in, and I should have plenty enough. And the reason why I'm not just doing right behind the window is because if you open this and it's just behind the window, you're still gonna see this funky stuff. So I don't want that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this behind it. And I think what I'm just gonna do is the same thing. Let me just try to get it to the top so it's as even as possible. I got some glue in there so it doesn't want to slide. Okay, so we're gonna do that on here. So I think that'll be all right. So that's got to go on the back of this. And we're just gonna, is that what I want? Let me think, where's my other piece? Here it is. Okay. No, actually, it is going to go on this piece. Woo! Boy, I would have messed that one up. So, yeah, you can see how bad this is all not right. But I can at least do this. And like I said, if I have to make it a little shorter, that's okay. So the back of the one pocket is the inside of the other envelope. I hope I got this right. Like I said, I'm not good with mirrors. And I haven't tried this. I haven't made this yet. And I'm just gluing it all down. I'm not, like I said, I'll go back and trim it even when I've got the piece together. And however wide, however short, or whatever it comes out to be is what it's going to come out to be. It is a learning experience for me. So I'm just going to give this a try. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right guys? All right, so it looks like this is going to go, and I'm going to turn this way for me so I can see it a little bit better. All right, let's see if I've got that too far in. Just a hair, just a smidge. I want to bring it up as far as possible so I can trim as little as possible, if that makes sense. Get some of this glue out of the spine here, or out of the center part. So we'll do that. Oh, stuck to my finger. What a surprise. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead. Actually, let me press this down a little bit better, I think. I didn't do that yet. Press that. Ow, press that. Sorry, my thumbs are not happy today. Some days, whatever my issue is with my hands, that the doctors in Buffalo couldn't seem to pinpoint, and I haven't really addressed it since I've gotten here these past months. Oh, I go back to my doctor in April. And you know, I think sometimes, at least with me, and maybe, you know, maybe you guys can resonate with this a little bit, but when you deal with, you know, pain and things like that, and especially if it's come on slowly, and you're older, you know, like I'm in my 60s, and as you're getting older and you're finding this doesn't quite work as well and that doesn't quite work as well, I think sometimes maybe we have a tendency to just kind of chalk it up to getting older. And, you know, we think, well, you just kind of deal with the aches and pains, you know, it just kind of comes with aging. And then there's other days when I think to myself, well, why should I have to? There's other people who are my age who are much healthier, much happier, as far as, you know, their physical health is concerned. And, you know, they can, I'm sorry if I've got this up in your face again, but it's the only way I can see it. You know, so why shouldn't I feel healthy? Why shouldn't I feel, you know, why should I accept the aches and pains? So oftentimes when I go to the doctor, this is really kind of ratty, so I'm just cutting across and we'll deal with it later. Oftentimes when I go to the doctor, if something's not chronically horrible with me right at that particular moment, I don't think to say anything, you know, I don't think to tell them. I don't think to let them know that this isn't right. I forget to tell them that my hands hurt sometimes. I forget to tell them you know, my hip is giving me trouble going up the stairs. I forget to tell them. You know, I just chalk it up to being older and, you know, having way too much weight on me. And you're like, well, what do you expect? You know, of course you're going to have aches and pains, but you know what? Sometimes there might be something else along with that. And I'm not saying it's anything critical, but it could be something more than just, I can't stop the aging. I can do something about my weight. And that's a hard one, especially the older you get, especially if it's in your genetics. I have a plump little family as a general rule. And so sometimes that's a little more difficult. I'm going to turn it this way and try to get that in the fold a little bit better. Squeezing out some of my glue, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect in there. Where did I do my, here it is. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect in here, but you just don't want to pull that envelope open to, you know, the pocket that it'll make. Pull it open and then see this weird stuff inside. So I will trim this just because, and I'm just kind of taking it off the top of this, kind of trying to make it even with that. And like I said, if it comes out a little more narrow, it'll come out a little more narrow. I started making cards, journaling cards to go in it, which are over here. They're way too wide, way too big right now. And these images that I'm using here are from Yvonne Preston's freebies. They're in her coffee shop. A beautiful page of 4. I've used one someplace else, I think in my Olivia journal. There's 2 more here, and then there's this one here as well, and then there was another one on the page. Absolutely stunning pieces of ephemera. So I just don't know where to trim because I don't know how big this is going to end up being yet until I have it all together and see where I have to trim to make it straight and even. And then I will go from there with the cards. So that's not going to be something that's going to be in this tonight or today, whenever it is we're watching. Okay, so lost it again. Here we go. All right, so that's what that is going to be. Okay, so that's that side, that's that side. So does that make sense? You have the front here, and I've got some stuff on it. Try to blow that away. And then the back of this pocket is on the other piece. All right, so again, the front will be here, the back of this pocket on the other piece. All right, so now what I want to do is these little bits all over. I think what I need to do is to go ahead and do the other side here with this, because I don't think I'm going to be able to get anywhere without that. Now I'm thinking on this one I'd like to leave, the other one I did this way, but I think on this one I think I'd like to leave this for something just a little different. So I'm going to pull it down some, okay? And what I'm going to do now, for right now, if I can, because I've got it pulled down, is try to clip this paper clip somewhat to hold it in place while I try to trace out the box for the opening on the front. So now a good thing that you can do is you can put a light source underneath it. If you have a light box, like if you draw things or something like that, you can do that. But what I'm going to do here simply is I'm going to hold it up to the light. I have a light back here, and I'm just going to stand it up, and I know you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm just marking the 4 sides as best as I can. Okay, that is as far out as I dare to go. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, it's right here, and 4 right here. Okay, I'm going to cut just inside that. All right, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm trying to make it as straight as I can, if I can get my paper clips off. Okay. I don't know how many more fancy things I can try to get, but all right, so I'm gonna use this one only because it's a little bit longer. And I'm gonna try to measure where I am. And since I wanna come a little bit inside that line, it looks like it's about here. So I'm gonna come to 5/8 of an inch. All right, right there. And I'm gonna do the same thing down here, don't wanna go past the other. So we're gonna go here to 5/8 of an inch. Okay, here's a 1/2 inch. This is 3/4 of an inch. The one right in the middle, 5/8. Okay, I need 2 to make a straight line. So at least I need 2 to make a straight line. All right, so now I wanted to come in on that one. This one is at 3 and just, it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7/8 of an inch. But I want to come in just a little bit more. So I'm gonna come to 3 and, oh, that was wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm gonna come to 3 and 5/16, just inside that line. I wanna make sure that I stay inside the, oh, I need to do that again. So I'm gonna erase this line because we're gonna use this one right here. And then do the same thing here, okay? I just need 2 points of reference. So we're gonna go right there, okay? Here's my line. It'll be going right down there. Okay, this one I'll try to do this one from the top for both of them. Here's my mark up here. Is that my mark up there? Let me see. No, that mark has to be someplace else, though it does look like it, doesn't it? Oh, you know what I did? I think I moved it down, didn't I? Yes. I had it about there. So where is my mark? Okay, that's right. Okay, so I want to come just inside that a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to be cutting off all of this and part of that, but that's okay. So we have 1 and 1/8. So I'm going to come up to 3/16. Right? We'll get rid of you. And 1 3/16. Right there. Okay. And then we're going to go down this way to this one, and I'm going to come just inside that. We're at 5 3/8, so I'm just going to come in. I'll just come in 1/8. Okay, and we'll move that over, or 1/16 actually. So we're going to come right here. I think that's where I was, right? Where did I just make that mark, guys? I just made a mark. I had one here. Oh my goodness, I don't know where it is. All right, let me try to get in between the words. Maybe that'll help me better. I thought, yeah. So I think it's right here is where I want to be. Right there. I believe. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so my first one I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw the lines right down here, trying to line up the 2 marks that I made as best as possible. It does not have to be absolutely perfect because I can always, you know, put some stuff around the edges and things like that to cover any possible mistakes that I made. Okay. And I'm not worried that I already know that the 2 pockets, I mean the 2 windows on both of these envelopes, because they weren't identical, are not identical. So I'm not going to worry about that. So, okay, and then we're going to find, where's my other line here? I don't know. I can't find it. Oh, goodness. Oh, here they are. Okay, 1, 2. There they go. All right. Okay, and we're gonna go, whoops, here. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna do there. For that one, it's a little bit smaller, which is okay. Oh, I didn't plug up my glue. Let me plug up my glue. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use my knife quickly, I hope, to cut this out. I've got things impinging, or infringing, I should say, on my my desktop again. It is my plan, as I try to continue pulling things apart and organizing things, it is my plan to organize not just where things get put away, and I think I said this once before, but not just where things get put away, but how to organize so that I don't create as much of a mess while I'm working. One of the things I have to try to remember to do is to not do too many projects at once. And however, whatever I do, I need to take the time when I'm done to tidy it and put it away in some sort of a bin. Now, I have been doing that for the most part, but it's been a busier week for me and I've been a little more pressed for time. So I've been rushing mostly to get the projects done and then kind of just like going upstairs and going to bed because it's been like, you know, it's been kind of crazy and I've been kind of tired. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to erase any lines that I may still have from the pencil as much as possible with my gum eraser here, very carefully, so that I don't make a mess and tear it. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put this back. We're gonna put that over here and glue that down so we're good and inside there. And like I said, this is part of this is gonna be cut off, part of that's been cut off, but I think we'll be okay. So we're gonna go ahead, glue this down. Okay, not too close to the acetate because you don't want it to spill out. Though I will say, if you use this glue, it's also got acetate in it, but if you use this glue, you usually can get it off pretty easily if you're careful. If you're using something like I don't know about like Elmer's or Aleene's tacky glue or anything like that, but if you're using the Art Glitter glue, which is the other glue I use, whoops, that won't come off. That'll leave a milky smear that will dry clearer, but it's still, you know, it'll still leave a smear on your piece, which if you're not worried too much about it because you're going shabby, then that's not such a bad thing. But if you're trying to make it really perfect and avoid a lot of the shabby, you want it nice and clean and sharp, then that might not be the way to go. Okay, here it is. I'm looking for it, and you know, it's back where it belongs. I have this little round caddy with holes in it that I keep some of my pencils and scissors and other tools and things in, and there's a little circle part in the middle where nothing is, and that's usually where I put this. So when I can't find it, I'm looking all over my desk for 5 minutes, and then I look back and go, oh, you know, it's where it belongs. Imagine that. So, but that is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make a way so that everything is within my reach. As I say that, went for my scissors and they were in front of me instead of to the side. So that everything is within my reach, so that it goes back where it belongs and it stays neater on my desk while I'm trying to work. And then at the end of, you know, the crafting time, I have a section over here to my left, which is a big bin. It's the top of a metal organizer thing that stands on the floor, and it's got three drawers that'll pull out, wire drawers, met like a wire mesh, and then the top one is just like a bin. So I have stuff in the drawers, and I used to have stuff in the top, but I have cleaned it out so that when I'm working on things and I'm going to have to keep reaching for them, I'm going to need that paper again. I'm going to need that lace again. I'm going to need something, you know, to that effect. Again, I'm just going to fold this and put this over here. I've been keeping it in that bin. So that way, when it comes to I'm done and I need to clean it up and put it away, it's all in like one giant basket that I can find, and it works much better that way. So, okay, so that's what we have here. And I didn't think to actually ink. So let me find my, still waiting for my ink to come. Here it is. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to take some scrap. Let's take some scrap here. Okay. And I'm just going to line it up against the side of this pocket. And I'm going to put my ink on it, and I'm just going to kind of go along the edge a little bit. And I'm not getting a whole lot of ink because my ink is drying up. I did put more ink on it, but it doesn't seem to like last. So I will go to this side. I can get the rest of it, you know, when I'm all done. A lot of this is going to be covered anyway. So that's that one. Put this one out from underneath it. I'm just spinning it around. Okay. This one. Okay. On this side, that one's on the other side. And then one on this side. And I've got that cut a little too far down. That's okay. All right, there we go. Okay, so that's inked. We're gonna go ahead and do this one. Then I have to decide what it is I want to put on the back of this. Do I want, and I'm thinking I just want writing space. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is just put some, just plain, I think just plain tea dyed paper on it. And kind of go from there, go a little heavier on that actually. Okay. I may stencil on it, or, you know, I don't know, maybe add a few embellishments, maybe put like a little pocket or a tuck spot or something like that at the bottom, or at the top, either way. All right, that corner a little bit and along this edge a little more. Good. Okay, so that's that. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to work on putting this together, though I do want to get something. This is too heavy. Let me come up here and see what I have. Let me see what I have. You know, I think we'll do this. This is my faux avocado dyed paper, because though it's a beautiful color, the avocado dyed paper, avocados are expensive and the process is long and tedious. I need things a little quicker than that. So what I did was I used tea, a light, and I'm going to line it up with whatever's here so that like I said, whatever I can make more even, I will make more even at the end. And if things aren't lined up to begin with, then we'll have a problem. So I'm just going to go ahead. Actually, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this. It's going to be covered. So if I, go too far down, then it's going to force me to take more off, and I don't want to do that. So we're just going to go ahead, and I did glue that down. Okay. The little flappies. Yeah, you know what? This is going to be nice. Anyway, because I'm just thinking about the paper that I'm going to put along the spine and along the edges of the pockets. So I think that will be just lovely. But anyway, so it's tea, tea when you're going to mix it up to tea dye your paper, tea dye your papers. And I put just a couple drops, depends on how much tea and how dark your tea is and how much water you actually have. But a drop or two of red food coloring. That's it. That's all I did. And then I tea dyed the paper. Well, dyed the paper. Pink dyed the paper. So that is my faux avocado dyed paper. It's not pink, the tea tones it down. It gives it that muted vintagey color, and works for me. It goes a whole lot faster, and it's a lot less expensive than avocados. Just my opinion. I like it, I do, but it's a lot more expensive, let's face it, and it's time consuming, particularly for people like me who do this stuff, really, it's a hobby. It's not a business, not my livelihood. And I work, and a lot of us work very long hours, or we have a job and we have small children. I don't have small children anymore, but, it just depends on how much time you have. Sometimes you're working, going to school, taking care of your kids, and still trying to find time to do something that's enjoyable for yourself, like doing this. And wherever I can save time, the happier I am. That's all I can say. So that's all I can say. All right, so let's see. Actually, good. Didn't squeeze a whole bunch out there. Let's get this cut. I just dropped something on the floor, because I'm not putting things back where they belong. I have these bins. I have two bins over this way. One is supposed to be, like for this, what I'm cutting right here, this is what I would consider coffee or tea dyed paper. It's just plain paper. And now this is going to become a scrap, so it doesn't go back in my pile of whole sheets, as if I wanted to use that for, pages in a book, in a journal. It now becomes scrap pieces. Now I'm going to use a big chunk of this, but this piece down here is going to become something, something else somewhere along the way. Okay. And you can see where this is uneven. All right. Where it wasn't folded right. So I'm going to have to trim it, or I can fix that with how I'm going to wrap the edges. That was my plan. So anyway, so one is for scrap paper like this, but I'm not sure that I'm not using this yet. But for scrap paper of the digitals, and that goes in one bin, and then the bin next to that. And all I say in bin, all these are if you know anybody who works in an office, if you work in an office, because I work in an office, we order file folders at the office, and these boxes, I just take the boxes and put the bottom part inside the top part, open, and it creates a rather sturdy little bin. Now, right now, they're not glued together or painted. It's my goal to do that, just so that they don't look like these ugly boxes just on the desk. But they serve their purpose right now. And that way your papers will fit in no problem, no matter how long they might be, unless of course they're much longer than an 8.5 by 11. But your papers will fit without hanging over or bending or getting wrecked in any way. So yeah, so one is for paper like this, one is for paper like this, and that stays over there. So I have, it should keep my desktop clean while I'm working, and yet it's centralized that if I think I need it, I can just reach into the box and, you know, pull it out if it's something I think I need. I also have, I need to push this up just a smidge now that I've got it down. Oh my goodness. I may be covering the top too. I don't know. I can't get it to go back up. I've got stackable trays over here, which you can generally get pretty inexpensively. Just again, office supplies. And they don't all match, but they all stack on top of each other. And in that one on the top bin, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 6. I have 6 of them over here. And the top one is where I keep my letter to the journal maker and my envelopes. Letter from to the journal. It says the letter to the journal keeper from the journal maker thing. So I keep that. That's in my Etsy shop, that digital, not the envelope part, but the letter is. I keep that with my labels and the ribbon that I use, you know, when I'm tying up and packaging up a journal or whatever. I'm gonna take these, I'm gonna put them in their proper bin. They're over there now. So that's what I do there. Okay, now I don't think it's too much. Well, maybe it will be. I'm thinking maybe I do want to put something in here. It doesn't have to be the whole thing, but I think I would like to try before I put this together. So let me go back up here. I have another thing to my side here. I made this tea-dyed paper, and I thought, oh, how fun if I crinkle it up. Yeah, it didn't do what I wanted it to do. It's too crinkly. Makes it hard to glue it down, but I'm gonna try. I'm just gonna do about not half a sheet, but half a thing here. I'm just gonna go up just so that you don't see the whole bit of this. Okay, and I'm gonna cut another one about the same size, and then we'll just cut around that window and we'll glue this down. Bin, over there. Love it. Okay, so this is all I'm gonna do here, is line it up, find a pencil, which is in my other little thing over here. We'll go here, we'll go here. I'm gonna take my little chopper. No, I actually don't want to take my little chopper. I want to, that's for my other side. I want to do one right here, okay? That's where I want it. I want this piece to stay. So I'm just gonna sketch a line. And sketch a line right here and here to this. Whoops, I'm too high. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect on this one. And we're just gonna go down here. And I'm just gonna cut that out real quick, hopefully. We'll see how this works. As long as I don't come across the acetate, I will be okay. Okay, just something to help hide that stuff inside, okay? And then I'll trim these down. Okay, let's do that. Get rid of some of that glue. We're just gonna go along here. Now, if you have envelopes like this, and usually the ones with the windows in them, at least here in the US, don't come without this security mumbo jumbo inside. It would be nice if it was just white. You can just ink it, or, you know, just run over it with some tea dye. The other thing I do, and I just put too much glue on there, but that's okay. The other thing that I do is I do not always tea dye things. My secret is out. I don't always tea dye things, guys. I have re-inkers, and I have one of my inks that I had been using is brushed corduroy, and I got glue all over me now. And I use the re-inker in some water, and I'll show you. I have a little thing down here, little jar. I'll just stir that up a little bit. And all that is, I don't know how well you can see it in the jar, in the lid, okay? That's water and ink. That's it. So when I need something quickly tea dyed, because, you know, I decided, oh, I like this paper in the book as a page, but the back of it is white. I just quick take that, because it's right here next to me, and I lay down, because I don't have a table down here anymore like I used to have in my other house. I just lay down some wax paper on the floor, opposite me, no, not opposite me, but on the other side away from me, where I don't usually go. The things I use the least, I stored further away from me. So I just put it on the floor over there, and you know, brush the back of it. I usually use either a paintbrush or a sponge brush, and I just leave it to sit, and it dries over there. Sometimes it dries quickly, sometimes not so much. It just depends. But if I know I'm going to need it, at least, you know, I only have to do that one little bit. I don't have to go through making a bunch of tea, because if you let the tea sit, it will mold. Now, this can too. After a little while, it might get a little moldy, but it'll last longer than the tea will before it starts looking or doing weird things. So, all right, so we've got that. Okay, that should be okay. All right, now let's get the other one, and we're gonna do the same thing to it. My bits and pieces. I think what I'll just do with this one is I'm gonna just glue it here. Oh, that one's not straight, so let me go here. That's better. All right, and we're gonna just try to draw this line down, draw this line down, and I'm not sure where this is, so let's go this way and say here. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and sketch a line along this edge as straight as possible. Obviously, I can't draw a straight line. Okay, that's pretty good. That'll help me. Okay, and we'll just cut this one here, cut this one here, and we'll cut this one up here, relatively straighter than I drew it. Okay, and I am going to erase this line, because I just don't, just in case you see it. You shouldn't, because if I'm doing what I think I'm doing, a lot of this will be covered. So a wee bit, but nonetheless, in the bin, over there. Okay, so we're going to put this down. I'm going to go ahead and glue this. Actually, I think I'll put the glue on here, and then I'll just glue the top when I get up there. I think that'll make it easier. So yeah, so those are my two bins over there. I started to say these 6 stackable trays. They're just plastic stackable trays. The top one is where I keep all my stuff if I'm going to send out a journal. And then underneath that, I have, in a couple of bins, I have the paper that I use to line digitals with something to make it heavier. I'm just going to flip that this way so I can do it a little easier. So I have a 32-pound paper generally, because I think for me, like I said, most of the time I am printing on copy paper. Okay, that way I can control how thick or thin an item becomes as I'm working. I don't, at least now, have, I think, what would be the luxury of being able to sit and decide, this is how I want to do this project. I'm going to need a thicker paper here and a thinner paper there, so I'll print this on thicker paper, but I'll print that on thinner paper. Perhaps when I retire, I'll have more of a chance to sit and think out a project that way. Maybe that's not the way, I don't know, but all I know is when I started doing all of this, it was copy paper that I used. If you're gonna, excuse me, use any kind of junk mail, like these envelopes, or, see, some of this is coming through, but it wipes right off. Or, you know, those flyers or advertisements, things with coupons or whatever, the thinner the paper is that you use to cover it, provided it covers whatever is printed. I really put a lot of glue on this one. Because if it's too thin, you can see through it. And I'll just try to rub it with my finger. I think that'll be easier. And it is coming off. So you just have to be careful with stuff like that. But otherwise, if I have various thicknesses of cardstock, if I want something a little heavier, I can make it heavier. When you glue copy paper and then a layer of glue, you add a certain amount of stability to it. But if you are looking to put a lot of things into a journal without making the journal super, super fat, or what one of my subscribers called fluffy. She said my journal was fluffy. I kind of thought that was sweet. And so I can control how thick or how thin I want something so it's not so bulky. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. Front and back. Piece of paper going over there. Okay, all right. So now I have to put the pink, oh, I did put the pink paper on the back of this one. It's so pale, I didn't see it. Okay, so we've got that. Now, where's my time so far? Oh, that's not too bad. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Now, I won't stitch it, obviously, into the book, but all I want to do is I want to cover these edges and try to make them as neat as possible. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that these are the same height, okay? So I think I would rather try to cut from the bottom rather than cut so close to the top of the windows. So I'm gonna take this, we'll go over a little over an hour, I think, here, but I think that'll be okay. You'll see the whole finished thing when the journal is done. It's going in this one, okay? And I'm gonna just clip down here as well, just to kind of keep it stable. And then here, actually, I think I'm gonna have to get that one off if I can. Now what I wanna do is I wanna take, I think I'm gonna have to take my heavier one because we're cutting through several layers here. Excuse my bringing that up in your face. All right. So I'm just going to bring this up. Excuse me. I'm lining this across here because I think that's probably pretty straight. And I want to make sure that I'm getting all of what is uneven off. Okay? So this is a little not even, but we're going to go that way with it. And I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. That's why I wanted the thicker one. Okay, that makes it the same size. Okay, the next thing I want to do, but I think we're okay here. I do have to trim just a little hair, but that's not an issue with the keeping them even on both sides. that's just a little piece that's hanging over here that I can trim with my scissors. So let's get rid of that. Let me get my little scissors. I think that's a little bit of that tea stain paper that's inside. So yeah, I over crinkled that tea stain paper, and in some places it might look good. For the most part, I keep it for doing something like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this paper, and I am going to decide how thick I want it. I want to leave a little bit of an edge, and I'd like to measure it so that I don't make it some weird, try to use a smaller one here, so I don't make it some weird size. That's a 1/2 inch. That's good. All right, I think what I'll do is I'm going to cut it at about 1 inch. It may be a little off center, more to the pink side, but that's okay. I'm going to cut it at 1 inch. Let's do that. And I need 2 of those. Okay. So we need 2 at 1 inch. 1 for the one side and 1 for the other. Okay. Now this paper was paper that came out of my porch prints, and I just made the pattern smaller is all I did. I just made it smaller and filled up the page with it. Okay. Then I'm thinking probably the same. This may have to be a little narrower because I want to go along here as well. And we're going to say here 1/4 inch, so we're going to go 1/2 inch strips. Okay, so 1/2 inch strips here for that. So I get that straight there. 1/2 inch all the way up. Not quite. I think I'm a little off here. All right, there we go. I think that's a 1/2 inch strip. We're going to do another 1/2 inch strip. Actually, we need 4 of these. Okay. 2. If my thinking process is right, we need 4. Okay. And 1 more. All right, I may need you again, so I'm not putting it all the way to the bin. All right, we're gonna do that there. Okay, so the first ones we're gonna do is, and I'm gonna ink these, so let me try to do that quickly. I may be a little off camera, but I'm trying to not get these little brown pilly things all over everything. I mean, I'm a lot off camera. Okay, but I just want a little bit of an inked edge here. That's why I said before when I went down the side here, I was like, I don't have to do that. It's going to be covered because that's what we're doing here. I'm doing this to, 1, add a little bit more interest to the piece itself, and 2, to reinforce the middle, the other one, because it's going to be sewn into the spine there. Okay. And with this journal, I'm going to sew all the pages and everything together on their own, and then they're going to go in as a package into the journal cover. You wouldn't be able to add or subtract any papers from it, just the whole piece would come in and out. So you'll see all of that when I actually do the flip through, which I'm hoping is going to be like after this. 1 more day. Okay, we're going to do that, and we're going to go ahead and glue this down. Now I've got less space up here, more of a space up here, so I'm going to move this down this way. I'm going to put the glue here. Okay. And I'll come back if any of the edges are loose later. If any of the edges are loose, I'll come back later and glue them down better. But for getting this done so you can see what's going on, and I don't know how how far up I really needed to go. So we're going to go from the bottom up, and we're going to leave a little bit of a space. I can actually get it pretty much halfway. So it should be straight. I'm hoping it's straight. Okay, should be. All right, so that's this one. Let's go ahead. I'm going to take this apart. The next thing I'm going to do while that's setting, I'm going to glue another one of these. Ink. And this one's a little bit harder to ink. You got to stretch it between your fingers to hold it stiff enough, because this is just copy paper. It's either 20 or 24 pound copy paper is all this is. But again, if you made these pieces too thick, it would be very hard to fold them and have them lay nicely because there's just too much bulk. So that's what I was saying before about using, for the most part, copy paper, and then I just glue them to whatever I would like to glue them to depending on the thickness, so that this way, right side up, right? Okay. And I'm going to go along the edge on here because this is just a little too narrow. Okay, so we'll just go here and we'll put this one this way. We're going to try to go about halfway. Doesn't have to be perfect. You'd like it straight, but it doesn't have to be halfway. This is just going to fold inside the edge of the pocket. Okay, that's what this one's going to do. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then I think I'll just snip this while I can. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and put this in here. Okay. I know a lot of people would measure things out. They're much better mathematicians than I am. Bless their hearts. I'm just pushing with my finger up against the edge of the envelope right now just to give myself some sort of a crease to work with. And then we're just going to go ahead and fold that back. Okay, into the glue. All right, so that's that. So that's what we have thus far. Okay, not exactly straight, but it's all right because there's going to be something that goes down here. So now I'll trim this one away. Okay, so that's the one side. And then we're going to put another one of these on this side. So that's why this and these, if I can get them out here, are the set that will go on this one. Okay, so 2 of the wide ones and 4 of the narrower ones. Okay, and then I'm just going to show you kind of what it's going to look like put together, but I'm not going to put it together right now because I can't do that until I am actually going to put it into the journal, and I'm not ready to bind all those papers yet. So the next time you see this piece, it will be complete, it will be decorated, and ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead here, make sure I don't have any real debris here, and put an edge along here of glue. Okay, and we're going to put this, make sure it's right side up this way. Okay, and we're going to try to put it about halfway down. And check this one from the back. Bring it in a little bit more. All right, I'm just going to press that down from this side and put the glue in here. So for me, this was my master plan on taking 2 similar envelopes that were pretty ripped up and ratty, and and trying to make them as even as possible, to, you know, and then covering up whatever other imperfections might be there by using these papers to cover the edges. And like I said, one, it added more interest to the piece, more color, and two, it adds stability and makes the edges hopefully straighter than they may have been otherwise. Okay, so this is essentially what this is going to look like. So when they're back to back, and I'll finish these up later, this will be how it will look, okay? So then when it's in the journal, and it's not going to be the centerpiece in this journal, something else is, I think. I may change my mind, because you know I can do that. So this is how it will look on the one side, and when you flip it, because they'll be together, on this side you'll have the writing, okay? So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be doing. There'll be an edge on here, and there'll of course be edges here and on this one. And then when you flip it over to the other side, that is how that will look on the other side. Now they're not lining up perfectly here. I can help that a little bit by burnishing, but they're not going to be together either, so it probably won't really matter that you can tell that. So that is how this piece is going to come together. So that's it. That's what I'm doing with my envelopes and such. So I think it'll turn out pretty nicely, and I will work on the rest of it. And the next time you see all this, it should be finished and complete and into the journal. So that's it for now, guys. I hope you had a good time watching. I hope it, you know, helped a little bit. If you have a couple of ratty envelopes you want to make fit, I think this is kind of helpful. So in the meantime, be safe, be happy, and be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now, guys.